Alright guys, just finished the first part of this video. It's going to all be one big thing, but it's just getting way too long. So this part of the video, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I would do in a defensive situation if I was using an edged weapon, okay, i.e. a blade. Now for this demo, I'm going to be using this fixed blade just because it's so awesome. This is that custom knife I got from Gavco. Pretty sweet. So I'll be talking a little bit about defensive techniques with a knife or with a blade. I say edged weapons because it could be anything. It could be a hatchet, a machete, but you know, most likely you're not going to have that. You're going to have either a pocket knife or perhaps a medium to large size fixed blade. More so a pocket knife. Anyway, this will be used for demonstration purposes. Before I start this video, same disclaimer as the other one. I'm in no way a teacher or responsible if you hurt someone, blah, blah, blah. You know the deal. But seriously, this stuff isn't a joke. It's a very, very serious subject, so don't take it lightly, okay? And please do research everything. Don't take my word for it. This is just my opinion. So, I've read, I can't tell you, countless books on knife defense over the years. Being in the hobby of knives, the subject comes up all the time. Finding a good knife for defending yourself, it's such a common question I get to all the time. Hey Jeff, you know, I live in a really, really rough area, can't have a gun for whatever reason, and I want to carry a knife to defend myself. What should I get? First of all, a knife may not be your best option. I think anyone who's not trained with a knife might end up doing themselves more harm than good. That's my honest opinion to you. I think that one, you could have your knife taken away from you and used on you, which certainly would not be a good situation. Two, you may easily get into using excessive force and perhaps hurting someone or killing them when you don't mean to. You could end up in jail because of it. You thought you were defending yourself, but now you're rotting in prison. You know, edged weapons are very much lethal if you don't know how to use them. You can use them in a non-lethal manner, but I don't know. If you're not trained with it, I wouldn't have a knife for a go-to defense thing. Pepper spray or mace, excellent option. Of course, that too is not foolproof. You can, you know, it can be a really windy day. You could accidentally be facing the wrong way and go, hey, back up, and then spray yourself in the face, which would not only make you look like an idiot, but it would certainly hurt. Impact weapons such as a baton, maybe a tire thumper, which is basically a small baseball bat, you know, you keep in your trunk. Stuff like that. The expandable batons, you know, the ASP type stuff, very effective if you know how to use it, but definitely more lenient if you don't know how to use it. I think then a blade. It's certainly not as messy, but even with something like that, if you don't know what you're doing, you can easily kill someone or cause them serious pain, not pain, but serious injury, in which will result in a really horrible lawsuit. You may be defending yourself legally, or what you think is illegally, and then you end up getting sued. So that's a whole different issue. But there's a lot of other options, I think, that are better before a knife. I think you really need to know what you're doing with a knife, okay? So I'm just going to give you a couple of tips, at least what I would do. If someone's attacking you, you feel your life is in danger, you feel like you're going to die if you don't do something to save yourself, and you pull out a blade, okay? This is representing anything that's sharp. Doesn't have to be a fixed blade, doesn't have to be this big. It can be a teeny little thing, it could be a massive thing, doesn't matter. If it has a sharp edge, that's what this is representing. Now you presented that. Okay, when you do that, specifically if there's a crowd, you should say something like, you should be verbal in any kind of fight. Stop hurting me, get away, you know. Anything like that will definitely help you in the aftermath. Some people don't think about the aftermath. I'm talking about when the cops show up and, you know, you or the other person are now in a hospital and, you know, in serious, you have serious injuries to you, and now you're facing the repercussions of this fight, whether you're being sued for it or whether you're going to court case because you're convicted of murder now, or not convicted, but you're arrested for murder. People don't think about that. They don't think about the aftermath, and this gets talked about sometimes in the gun community with gun defense. What do you do after it's over with? You know, that's a very important part of the equation. A lot of people, they focus mainly on, here's what I'm going to do, here's the gun I'm going to carry, here's the holster I'm going to have, all right, I'm ready, and I can shoot really good. Well, what happens after you kill that person? They're trying to hurt you and you kill them. Now what? What do you do? Did you think about any of that? Same thing with a knife. It's no different. What do you do after the fact? Well, you have to talk to the police. You have to tell them the situation. If there's witnesses, they're going to give them their version. A lot of times, you know, if there's two people arguing, they say there's three sides to the story. There's his side, there's my side, and then there's the truth, which is usually something in between. Think about that. That portion of it is very important. Again, going on the same theme of defense being necessary force and not excessive force, for most situations, if I want to get someone off of me, or if I want to hurt someone enough to get away from a situation but not kill them, I will slash. I can tell you, if I pulled a knife for defense, there's very few situations where I would stab someone, okay? There's too much room for error with stabbing, and I don't necessarily want to kill someone. If I have to kill someone because I think it's either me or them, I can easily do it. I've thought about this many, many times. You have to get into a mental state where I don't see this person as a person. They're just a piece of meat, you know, that I'm just trying to save my own life. And I'm talking about extremes here where it's literally my life or theirs. I have no problem doing whatever I have to do. A lot of people would have a problem with that, especially once you start seeing blood. All right, some people get queasy over that. You know, you give someone a good little slash and I mean, bleeding to the point where they're squirting blood at you. Some people might just totally toss their cookies right there, throw up, feel faint, whatever. That's going to be bad. That's a bad situation. But it's nasty. It's definitely nasty. At least with a gun, you can do it with distance between you. With a knife, it is up close and personal, and it takes a special kind of person to be able to handle that. But what I would do is I would not stab someone. Okay, like I said, there's too much room for error. You may, anywhere in the abdomen is not good. You stab in the lung, you know, it could be a problem. They can die from that. You stab them in the heart, obviously, that's not going to be very good. You get any of their organs, you can have organ failure. You may think, all right, well, maybe I won't stab them. Maybe I'll just, I'll cut them in the leg. No, not good. All right, you got major arteries running on the inside of your legs. You can give someone, in fact, this is something I read years ago on defense. If you really want to take someone out for the count because your life is in threat, you give them a good slash on the inside of the thigh. Okay, they will bleed out within a minute or two and they will die from that. However, a wound to the leg, this definitely looks more defensive than a stab to the chest. And this is where law comes in, and I don't want to get into depth with that because I'm really not in any position to explain law. Okay, I'm really not, honestly. I'm a total noob to law, period. But stuff like that is to be considered. In fact, even with guns, you'll hear sometimes 2 in the chest and 1 in the head. There's a lot of different terms for it. But the reason for that too is that after the fact, the aftermath, you have a story to tell. You have, okay, this person was attacking me, I shot them in the chest. They did not stop. Okay, they continued to move towards me, they continued to pose a threat to my life, so I was forced to shoot them again in the head. If you just shoot someone in the head, it doesn't look good as far as like a defensive situation. You didn't give them a chance. Not that you're supposed to give them a chance to stop, but you know what I'm saying, or at least you should know what I'm saying by now. If you shoot them in the chest and they still don't stop, at least you attempted to stop them without causing lethal injury. But they kept coming, or at least your story is that they kept coming, whether they did or not. I had to shoot in the head, sorry. And you're better off in the aftermath by doing that. Same with a knife. If someone's attacking you and you stab them in the chest, it just doesn't look good for you. Any way you cut it. There's a pun. So just some stuff to think about. But anyway, what I would do, okay, is if I'm in a situation where I have to pull a blade, I'm going to go for the head. Now, unlike a gun, the head is a very reasonable place to go with an edged weapon that's non-lethal. Now, there's one big danger that's posed with this this thought process. If you get anywhere in the neck, you're obviously not going to be good. It's not, you don't want to get the neck, you want to get very high up in the head. And I'm not going to point with my sharp knife because that's not smart. Had it in my hand. Yeah, if you go to slash the head and they move, they I don't know, they spring up to jump out of the way, and now you're by the neck area, anywhere in the neck area, it's not good. Obviously, you have problems. You slice them in the neck, they could die from that very easily. So, the idea here is if you know you have a clear shot to the head, that's what I would go for. Out of all places in the body, I would go for the head to give myself the best chance to get away. Now, again, extremely situational. A lot of knife fighting classes and schools will teach you to go for the weapon hand. Okay, it's talking about, there's a term for it, it's called defanging the snake. If I'm a threat to you because I pull a knife, I go, all right, you know, I want to rob you, whatever, we got into a situation. Now I have a knife pulled on you. This is not a threat, my hand, my face is not a threat, nothing. This is a threat, right here. This is what's going to cause you the most harm. How do you get rid of this? Well, a slice to the wrist or a slice across the top of the hand, okay, particularly across all of the ligaments in your arm and hand, will cause your fingers to malfunction and you will drop your knife, therefore defanging the snake. Think about a snake. A snake's harmless. The only thing you don't want touching you from a snake are those fangs. You get rid of the most dangerous part of that threat and it definitely decreases the chance of you getting hurt. Alright, but if someone has a knife, it's a huge chance to go for that. You may want to do that. That might actually be your best bet to start off with. If you feel you have a good shot, maybe you have enough time to get your knife or your knife's already out, you may want to go for the wrist or the hand. Okay, and there's a lot of techniques on how to do this. Even if, like I said, if you have a nice slice across the top of the fingers like that, you're not going to be able to close your fingers. Even up here on the arm, you're not going to have the functionality of that. All right, particularly the thumb. Take away the thumb and it's going to be very hard to grasp anything. All right, so a quick little like a chop cut. I'm not even talking about a full slash. I'm talking about coming in there and just doing one of those. You know, smack him on the wrist. He's been a very bad boy. That's enough. You catch with a very sharp knife, you catch anywhere in the hand, the average person's going to go, "Wah!" and drop that knife and look at that wound. It's going to be instinct. Their body's going to say, something's wrong, check it out. You know, that's what they want to do because it's going to be instant pain. They're going to let go of their weapon and now you have time to get out of there. Don't try to pick it up. Don't continue to beat the person up. Get out of the situation as best you can. Okay? That person's hurting at this point. They don't want to continue to fight you, most likely. But if that doesn't work, or again, you're in a situation where you cannot do that and you have to make a slash, go for the head. Reason being is as long as you don't get the neck, anywhere in the head, you can slash, and the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to blind them. Okay? You want to really go for the face area. If you cut someone in the forehead, first of all, think about your skull. Okay? I'm not talking about stabbing, I'm talking about slashing. Even a really good slash, it's going to go through the skin, it's going to go through the fat and any kind of muscle, and it's going to hit the bone. It may scrape the bone, it may cut into the bone. You're not going to cut all the way through and cut their brain or anything, okay? That's a non-issue here. Anywhere in the face or the head, even extending past, you know, where the ears are and stuff, you take a slash there, you're going to bleed like crazy. Think about, and this is a great example I saw one knife teacher talk about, think about, at least for guys, if you ever nicked yourself shaving, it just doesn't stop bleeding. Well, that's your entire face. You have all these thin little blood vessels everywhere. You know, when you come in from the cold and your face turns beet red, you know, or any situation where your face turns red, that's all the blood rushing to the top of the skin, you know, or the top of the underpart of the skin. Otherwise, you'd have bloody, disgusting faces. But you know what I'm saying. There's a lot of blood flow going on in your face. You take the tiniest nick in your forehead, it's going to bleed like crazy. Now, I say go for the forehead because that's your best scenario. One is you're not gonna kill them. I don't care how hard you're slashing, you're not gonna kill them. But if you get a nice deep cut across the forehead, that blood is gonna rush straight into their eyes, and now they're gonna lose their vision. They're not gonna be able to see. All right. If you could take the vision away from your attacker, you're golden. Now you have time to get out of the situation. All right. Worst case scenario, like I said, you miss. And I mean miss slightly. The really worst case scenario is you hit their neck on accident, which is obviously not going to be good. Either way, you're going to be defending yourself. It's just you don't want to try to kill the person. That's not your goal here. Your goal is to stop the threat. But let's say you miss a little bit and you cut their eyeball. you may blind them. They're not going to die from it, okay? So I think from a true defensive scenario or situation, that's your best bet, is really this target here. The whole head particularly, or the whole head in general, but particularly the forehead. You get a good old slash, and you don't need a slash like this, okay? This is wasted motion. You don't, if you're defending yourself, you don't go like that. You don't do this big swing. And you'll see this if you do learn anything about defensive tactics with blades. You don't want wasted motion. Your target is the size of the torso. That's the person. Let's say they're this wide. Slashing like this is all wasted motion. You're not going to be touching the person that's an attacker. You're not stopping the threat by moving this way. And then after you pass the body section, the follow through is all wasted motion. A lot of schools and teachers will teach you, you want fluent, you want curves pretty much. And everything should be curved, because if you do a full slash, at some point you stop. You stop, you reposition. Those are split seconds that are very valuable to you, and it's wasted energy and wasted time. So you don't want that. Yes, I'm itching my neck with a sharp knife in my hand. It's the tic-tac-toe method, I've heard it called, and there's plenty of other names too. Mark the Animal Young did a whole video on this. But think of a tic-tac-toe board, okay? You could slash up, you could slash down, up, right, left, right, diagonally down, diagonally up, and then the same way, the other direction to make an X, all right? But fluid motions when you're slashing. You want circles here. Now, I'm not stopping and then doing that. I'm actually flowing into the next cut, okay? So again, it's side to side in a slash, up and down in a slash, and don't be afraid to move your body too when you're doing this, whether you're practicing or whatever. All right, you don't want to just stand there immobile. You want to be moving around as much as possible. Move your body with the blade. It's just like swinging a golf club or a baseball bat. You could swing a baseball bat like that, but you get a lot more power if you put your body into it. Same with a knife. Swing with your body. Twist your hips. Anyway, so it's down and up, okay, left and right, coming down on an angle and then back up, or the other direction to make that X. Those are all your slashing options, okay? But don't forget, if your person is this wide, that's how big your target is. The big getting ready for a slash, not only are you letting them know you're coming in for a slash, but you're wasting time and energy. Particularly after you pass the body, you're wasting time and energy. So stay within your target. But the chop cut, okay, coming in and doing a little wrist flick, this will inflict a great amount of damage, more so than you can ever imagine. Now, if you do a full slash, you will have a better cut. However, for my scenario here, like I'm talking about, you go like that, you just like do it without a knife, okay? Don't even use a rubber knife for this. Take a basketball, pretend that's someone's head, okay? Draw a little face on it if you want to ruin your basketball. And go like this and tap it. Just tap the basketball as if it's someone's forehead. Just go like that and smack it, and just keep practice this as fast as you can. Tap the basketball, okay? Move around a little bit, you know? I know it seems stupid, but seriously, hear me out here, okay? Now, take a rubber knife. Never ever train with sharp knives. I don't care if you're alone in a room, don't do it. I'm just showing this for demonstration purposes, all right? Take, ideally, a piece of meat, but it's expensive to go out and buy a rump roast just to practice on. But take your basketball, I mean, if it's no good anymore and you're not planning on using it, and wrap it with some cardboard or some paper. Do like a thick layer of it, and take your sharp knife and do the exact same thing, but with a knife in your hand. Just do it once. Go like that and just tap it. You're gonna see a nice little cut in that cardboard. You know, you may see that it goes pretty deep, deeper than you thought it might, right? Doesn't take a whole lot of energy, just a little tap like that. All right, now imagine that was someone's forehead. First of all, I think the most intimidating thing, whether they're expecting or not, to see a knife, this is same as when I did the gun video when I pointed the gun at you, to see a knife flash in front of your face, you know, is extremely intimidating. You're gonna be like, oh my God, what happened? And this is all in split seconds. Like, I can't believe that there was a knife that could have cut me. Think about like when you're cutting in the kitchen, you go, oh, I hope I don't get cut. Well, imagine a person who doesn't like you and they have a knife in their hand, they're trying to cause you harm. Can you imagine the panic that you would have? The anxiety and the fear that's going through your mind at the same time, all the adrenaline's rushing through your body because you're trying to counteract that fear. And we all have that fight or flight thing. Either you're going to want to get away or you're going to want to attack. But this, I think, could be a very effective, somewhat non-lethal way to do it. Okay? Just a quick little chop cut to the forehead. If you need to, do a little slash, but don't forget, no wasted motion. If you're coming in for the face, don't come all the way in for the face like this. Come in straight, slash like that. Slash down and drag with as you're leaving, okay? That's, I think, a lot of people who use knives just in an animalistic way. They're just furious with someone. They grab a knife and they just start stabbing them. That's what everyone wants to do. They just want to start stabbing. This is all wasted motion, okay? We're not trying to kill people. We're trying to get them off us so we can get out of the situation. So just a fluent little, just like that, like a little fish hook. Trust me. And then whatever you're doing, no matter what position you're in, make sure your edge is facing the threat. It's not going to help to drag, to rub the spine of the blade, the unsharpened portion, on any part of their body. You want to make sure that's always facing them, no matter how you're attacking them. I shouldn't say attacking, no matter how you're defending yourself against them. Always have that edge present towards them, no matter what. If you're using a reverse grip, same thing. You can come in with a quick little fish hook. Now, trust me, it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to just go like that. But that quick little motion will, let me not point with the knife again. That would have came in, started here, slammed down, looped around. You're really going to open up their face. They're going to be gushing with blood. They're going to be in shock. All right, at first it's not going to hurt them. But they're going to probably reach up and feel that their face is like not connected anymore, and they might faint from it. They might completely freak out. Either way, there's blood rushing into their eyes. They're going to be blinded by it. It's going to be rushing into their mouth. They're going to be tasting it. All right, it's not pretty. All right, if you come down across the whole face, a little bit more motion. All right, but again, no wasted motion. You're coming down, don't come all the way up like this. Just come straight out, come down and up, but with a longer sweep. You come across, the whole length of the face. Maybe, you cut half the nose apart, cut the upper lip in half. If this happens to you, can you imagine the feeling you would have? That you're in a bad situation, now you're attacking someone, you're trying to hurt them for whatever reason, but all of a sudden you feel like, and you'll just feel pressure at first. You're not going to feel cutting, you're going to feel like, pressure of someone rubbing you. That's probably what it's going to feel like. I mean, I haven't personally had my face cut off, but I know for a fact that people who've talked about knife attacks and talked about being cut or stabbed, they say at first that it is just the pressure. You don't feel pain at first, but you feel this intense pressure. But can you imagine that? Like really quick, someone does like that in your face. It feels like they're slapping you or punching you or scratching you. And you go, oh man, they just scratched me. And you go to lift up and your nose is falling off and your lip is in your hand and you're just gushing blood everywhere. Would you really want to continue attacking this person? Or would your brain go, holy crap, we got to fix this? You know what I mean? You'd be in shock. And that's enough time for that other person to get out of there. And that's the whole point of this, okay? So just a quick recap if you can't follow along with my babbling. What I'm saying here is get out of the situation. Get out, get out, get out. Swallow your pride. Get out of there. I don't care if people make fun of you. Don't do it. But if you're backed into a corner, you have no escape whatsoever, and this person is posing a lethal threat to you. You honestly feel in your heart that if you don't help yourself, you're going to die. If that's the case, and you happen to have an edged weapon, quick little slashes, stay fluent, circles. Okay, circles, figure eights, keep a fluent motion. Okay, quick little chop cut will work just as fine as well, but get the face, the whole face area if you can, up by the head. All right. Now, not that you'd want to purposely blind someone, but if they are trying to kill you or cause harm to you or your family, I don't think you'd have any problem sticking this straight in their eyeball. Okay, so if that's what you want to do, if you want to do a horizontal slash, come in like that, straight at the eyes. All right, come in one side and come out the other side. As you come in for, like I said, any slash at all, make sure you turn that blade so it's always, the sharp edge is always facing the threat, and pull out with that edge to cut. You're basically, instead of going like this, 1, 2, 1, 2. Think about all the motion that's wasted there. 1, 2. You could be really fast with it, you know, but it's still wasted motion. Coming in like this, you got the same effect. Half the time, really, really fast. These people are going to be just completely shocked at what just happened to their face, and you're going to be able to get away and save yourself. So hopefully this was somewhat informative to you. I hope it wasn't too grotesque. I pondered the idea of even talking about this many times. I have a lot more information that I feel could help. I don't want to make it a consistent theme on the channel is how to attack people with knives. Of course, I really do mean from the bottom of my heart for this information to only be used by good people in really bad situations where they have no other choice but to defend themselves. So hopefully this maybe gave you a little insight. If nothing else, maybe it's just a good thought-provoking video. Maybe now it's kind of in your head like, you know, yeah, I carry a knife for defense, but what if I actually have to use it? You know, maybe Jeff's right. Maybe I shouldn't just stab them, because then I can kill them and I can go to jail. And like I said, there are certainly innocent people rotting in jail because they only want to defend themselves. Laws are important. Look them up. They vary state to state, different countries. What you can have, what you can do with it, when you can do with it, or when you can use it, stuff like that. Research, guys. Like I said before, knowledge is power. Understand what your limits are by law. Now, of course, there's moral limits, which are totally different. You could be truly wanting to defend yourself, but you can't morally, maybe it's your religion, maybe it's just your scruples, how you're brought up. You just can't bring yourself to hurting someone, even if they're going to kill you. Well, all I can say is you crap out of luck there. Maybe you got to bite the bullet and just do what you got to do. But anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Let me know what your thoughts are on this subject. I know for a fact that it's an interesting subject, and a lot of people want to know more about this kind of stuff, but I'm not a teacher. There's other channels on YouTube who do a great job at teaching different techniques. There's plenty of videos out there, DVDs. Again, if you want more information about this stuff, go to James Keating. Go look up Michael Janich. He has a whole series on just defense with fighting folders. He has a great balisong video, by the way, for defense. You know, these are the kind of, go to professionals. Don't just take my opinion for it. It's like anything else, like watching a review. Don't just watch one review from me and say, oh, Jeff liked it, maybe I should get it. No, Jeff liked it, doesn't mean you like it. If 10 reviews say it's awesome, maybe you should check it out. It's probably awesome. You know, but if you watch 2 or 3 that say it's crap, and I say I like it, well, the majority is saying it's crap. Maybe it is crap. You know, the more, the merrier. That's how it works. Knowledge is power. So that's all, I believe. I think I said that a couple times already. But I really am going now. I got stuff to do. Thanks for watching, though. I appreciate your time, as always. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.